Hello everybody and welcome to part 12 of what if Izuku Midoriya was the shield hero, this series that is so hard for me to write because I always have low motivation for it. If you enjoy, as always, please don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already. You can also check out the Discord link in the description below. I just want to say, just as it's usually implied because this is a what if and it explores a lot of stuff, especially with Shield Hero, there are slight spoilers ahead for future stuff. I mean, you can read on the wiki if you want, but I don't think you will want to read all the light novels or wait for season 3 to come out to get the little details here. So yeah, they're light spoilers. It's nothing too bad. Happens in every real what if. You might get a spoiler or two without realizing it. So yeah. That said, please enjoy the video. Hello, Shield Hero. Please, put down the shield. I can assure you my intentions towards you are not hostile. The lowly-looking girl said with an indifferent expression on her face, after appearing in front of the group in the middle of the forest. Seeing little hostile intention, Izuku let down his guard a bit while still keeping his shield up. That doesn't answer our questions, Raphtalia said, not wanting to put her sword down. Feh? Risha exclaimed, frightened of the confrontation that was to come. Melty seemed to have dropped her guard entirely, while Denki and Takami looked at the situation, tilting their heads in confusion. My apologies, the girl said, lifting her dress in a very educated manner. She was carefully holding it up with 2 fingers on each side while bowing slightly to show respect. I am the Queen of Filolials. My name is Fitoria. Nice to meet you. Wait, Fitoria? Is it really you? Melty asked. You know her? Izuku questioned, prompting Melty's enthusiasm. Who doesn't? Melty responded. Centuries ago, one of the heroes of the time raised a Filolial called Fitoria. That long ago, huh? So you're what, a descendant? Someone who was named after her? Izuku asked. He had heard of some people with prolonged lifespans because of their quirks, but that was usually only around 160 years, not something to reach the point of centuries. No. The name Fitoria has always been mine, and I am the only one to have had it, she answered. So, this is the party of the shield hero, huh? Fitoria asked after a moment of silence. Please, tell me your names. The group then proceeded to introduce themselves. Fitoria reacted to all the names in a polite manner, except for Denki and Takami, where she just gave a slight nod indicating that she had registered their names. When Melty presented herself, Fitoria mentioned a previous encounter with her. Okay, now that we've introduced ourselves, can you tell us what do you want from us exactly? There must be some reason why you're here, Izuku said, reiterating the second question from before. Answering such a question will take time, and this is hardly a suitable place for us to discuss such matters. Let's go somewhere more comfortable, the queen said gracefully, turning around to point at her carriage for emphasis. Yay! Denki shouted, with Melty looking pretty enthused next to him. The group agreed to go, packed up their campsite, and entered the carriage. Seconds later, they were gone in a flash of light. Moments after disappearing, they reappeared amidst some ruins. The group stepped out of the carriage, surprised to see their surroundings had changed so quickly. What just happened? Raphtalia asked, stepping out of the carriage confused. It must be some kind of instant travel magic, Melty noted as she stepped out of the carriage herself. That was so cool! It all went whoosh, and here we are! Denki noted, excitedly jumping out of the carriage. Bio! Takami chirped, jumping alongside Denki. Feh! Risha whimpered, looking at the destroyed civilization that was surrounding them, very much intrigued. It's like being teleported to the wave, except it felt different, Izuku noted while looking around the place. If I may ask, where are we? What do those ruins belong to? Risha asked, looking at them curiously. Why are you so excited? They're just the rocks, Denki responded, not understanding why Risha was so excited. If it were food, he'd get it, or maybe if it was something shiny, but this? It was just boring rocks. Supposedly, these are the remnants of the civilization defended by the original heroes, Fitoria answered, not giving the green-haired girl a second thought. Impressive. I didn't think there'd still be remnants from so long ago, Risha said, looking at her surroundings wide-eyed. What more can you tell us about this? You said supposedly. Does that mean you don't know? If you were raised by one of the original heroes, then shouldn't you be able to answer? Izuku asked. He'd hoped that Fitoria would yield more answers about the waves and the world's mysteries, but her wording made it seem like she wouldn't be much help. These ruins have been like this since before I was born, so I wouldn't be able to answer many questions, Fitoria answered. So this is the Filolial Sanctuary, right? Melty asked, enthused. Correct, Fitoria answered. In fact, I'm not supposed to bring humans here. Hearing that, an excited expression formed on Melty's face as she started looking around more. That means we have nothing to worry about, right? We're kind of on the run right now, Izuku explained. No one should interfere with you while you stay here, Fitoria answered. Midoriya, I'm hungry, Denki complained in a demanding tone. I never got to eat my dinner. Ah! Takami added, repeating the same sentiments. I'm sorry for interrupting. You're free to finish your meal and rest if you'd like, Fitoria said, pointing the group to an area they could comfortably rest at. Once there, they pulled their stuff out of Midoriya's shield and finished preparing their dinner and ate it, all while Filolials looked. Izuku felt sorry for the creatures, so he decided to prepare food for all of them. Once they finished the meal, tuckered out, everyone went to sleep, all but Izuku, who started cleaning up their supplies. It was his turn to take the first watch. After he put everything away, Izuku started messing around with his shield's menu, wanting to implement some of the upgrade methods Itsuki had suggested more thoroughly. While he did, Fitoria approached him. If you aren't too busy, I'd like to have our talk now, Fitoria said, looking on as Izuku fiddled with his help screen. Sure, Izuku responded, closing the menu and getting up. Fitoria started walking away, so Izuku followed. He watched as the lovely-looking girl got up on a wall and started walking on it, trying to maintain her balance. It reminded him of when he was little. So, you wanted to talk? Izuku asked, wanting to get the conversation going. It was pretty late, and although they were in a pretty safe area, he still wanted to go to bed soon. Yes, I suppose I'll get straight to the point, Shield Hero. Do you know about the hourglass? Fitoria asked. If you're talking about the Dragon Hourglass, then yeah, I know about it. So do the other heroes, although I'm pretty sure they know more than me, Izuku responded, scratching his back, slightly embarrassed at his lack of knowledge in that regard. If that is so, why aren't you, or any of the other heroes for that matter, fighting the waves of catastrophe across the world? She asked, jumping off the wall and turning to Izuku, looking him dead in the eyes. Hearing that, Izuku did a double take, taking a step back even. Wait, you mean they aren't only happening in Melromark? Izuku asked, surprised. No, they happen everywhere. The 4 Cardinal heroes are meant to go to one country each and fight the waves as they come throughout the world, Fitoria answered. I have been traveling the world in your place and dealing with the waves where I'm asked, but the 4 Cardinal heroes aren't helping anywhere else. Sorry about that. I honestly didn't know about this. I only recently learned that there were other hourglasses and was on my way to Siltveld because of that. So I'll deal with them there and tell the other heroes when I meet with them, Izuku said. Honestly, I do not care what happens to the humans, Fitoria said. She then resumed her path, guiding Izuku through the Fallen Kingdom's ruins as she continued talking. I'm only fine because the hero who raised me asked me to do so. Can you tell me who he or she was? The hero who raised you, I mean, Izuku said. I do not remember him very well. The memory of a Filolial is short. I do recall my mission, though. To keep the world and its people safe, Fitoria said. Could the hero who raised you by chance be called Shidono Mamoru? Izuku asked. Hearing that name, Fitoria froze for a second. After processing what was said, she answered the shield hero's question. The name does sound familiar, so I'm inclined to say yes, but I am not sure. Where did you hear this name? A while back I had a vision where he told me to assemble the heroes, all of the heroes. He told me to stop the enemy and his vanguard. Do you have any idea what that may mean? Izuku asked. The waves are a complicated mystery, and I'm afraid that much of the information I had has been lost to memory. But I do know he was right. You must assemble the heroes. All the Cardinal heroes are supposed to work together. That is absolutely crucial to this world's protection. If even one is missing, then we'll reach a point where fending off a wave will become almost impossible, Fitoria said. If one of you is missing, even I won't be enough to stop the waves. It's going to be a bit hard to get the spear hero on board, but I think I can convince the sword and bow heroes to help out, Midoriya said. Good. If you intend to fight off the waves properly, then you have my full support, shield hero. But if what the past shield hero said is right, I do believe you'll need the vassal heroes on your side as well, Fitoria said. That term, someone said it before. What does it mean? The only time I heard it was while fighting a wave. This very pale woman came out of a portal and started fighting us, Izuku said. In each world, there are 2 vassal weapons for each cardinal weapon. The vassal heroes have the same purpose as the cardinal heroes, but they have less strength and suffer from fewer limitations as a result. The woman who attacked you was probably a wielder of such a weapon, although why she would attack you I do not know. So that means there are 8 vassal weapons, right? What are they? Izuku asked, curious. He pulled out a piece of paper and a pencil from his shield and started writing down what Fitoria said. The humans know of 7 of these, those being the whip, the staff, the claws, the hammer, the axe, the throwing weapon, and the gauntlet. They call these the 7-star weapons, Fitoria answered. But you said there were 8, Izuku reminded her, looking up from his notebook. The 8th weapon is the vassal carriage. It is one that history seems to have forgotten, and the one that is currently in my possession, she continued. Ah, so what you used to bring us here was one of your skills then, Midoriya surmised. Correct, Fitoria answered. So to fight the waves properly, I have to assemble all the heroes. Do you think that will be enough? To fight them, yes. To defeat them, I am not sure. There's a lot I do not remember, Fitoria said. After that, the conversation fell silent. Izuku started writing down a bunch of ideas along with the new information he had just learned. There is one more piece of advice I feel I must offer you. I cannot say how many ways will have passed when it happens, but a time is coming when the world will demand great sacrifices from all of us, especially the heroes, Fitoria informed. I'm not sure I understand. One day, there'll be a battle where the heroes will have to choose what they are fighting for. Will you choose to fight for the world, or for the people who inhabit it? Fitoria continued. If you choose to fight for the world, many will lose their lives. However, it will allow you to fulfill your duty. I won't sacrifice all those people in order for the world to live on, Izuku complained, stopping the walk, causing Fitoria to do the same. I'm a hero, that means it's my job to save everyone. So you choose the thornier path then, just as the previous heroes had hoped, Fitoria informed. It is still early to make the choice, so you may still wish to change your mind. But something you must remember is that saving the world and saving its people are not the same thing. The conversation fell silent for a moment while the walk continued. After a while, Izuku decided to break the silence. "Is that all you wanted to talk about then?" he asked. "No," Fitoria answered. "I do have one more request of you." "What might that be?" Izuku asked. "Since you have shown your commitment to fighting the waves, I'll move on to the main reason for meeting with you. I would like to fight the Filolials you've been raising," Fitoria answered. "Fight them? Why do you want to do that? I guess Denki could hold his own, but Takami isn't really there yet," Midoriya reasoned. "I am simply interested in gauging how strong they are. As you know, fighting the waves can be quite dangerous. If they prove themselves strong enough to me, then I shall reward them accordingly," Fitoria said. "As for the red-feathered one, I do not think there will be much of an issue with her. She should reach her next step of development tomorrow." "You're saying she'll become an angel like Denki?" Izuku asked. "Yes," Fitoria answered. "On that note, can I ask why they are both growing so differently from other Filolials? I get that one could be a coincidence, but two of them developing the same way strikes me as more of a pattern," Midoriya said. "They are different from ordinary Filolials. They're like me. A hero is raising them," Fitoria informed. "Ah, so if a hero raises a Filolial, then they turn out differently," Midoriya repeated, trying to make sense of it all in his mind. "Certain steps can be taken for this not to happen, but in essence, yes," Fitoria said. "Even if that's the case, she'll still be naked, right? I guess she can fight in her Filolial form, but it'll be a bit weird if she wants to switch back and forth in the middle of the fight," Izuku commented to himself. "Do not worry. I'll make the necessary preparations for when she reaches her angel form, as you called it," Fitoria said. "Then I guess it's alright," Midoriya consented. Their conversation had reached its conclusion, so Izuku headed back to where his friends were sleeping for the night and set up a sleeping bag for himself. "Is it time for me to keep watch now?" Raphtalia asked, getting up from her sleep while rubbing her eyes. "I think we're going to be safe, so you can just sleep until morning," Izuku responded. "I think I'll keep watch anyway," Raphtalia responded as Izuku went to sleep himself. The next morning, Izuku got up from his sleeping bag after waking up. He looked around, spotting Raphtalia, who had fallen asleep on a Filolial's belly, along with Denki and Melty, who were sleeping together. Not too far from them was a naked girl with long red hair, sleeping where Takami used to be. Risha was sleeping a bit further away. It looked like she had fallen asleep while reading a book. At first, it surprised Izuku to spot the girl, but once he remembered the chat he'd had with Fitoria, the surprise faded away. Is everything alright, Izuku?" Takami asked, getting up and yawning. She then started rubbing her eyes. Just fine," Midoriya answered, a bit nervous, looking at the naked girl. "Oh, you've awoken," Fitoria said once the group started to become active. She then turned to one of the Filolials that were around and whispered something to it. The Filolial nodded and left. Izuku then proceeded to cook breakfast. Once everyone had eaten their fill, the Filolial reappeared with a couple of others, bringing a magic spinning wheel along with some thread, cloth, and other materials. The group spent the morning preparing the girls' clothes. Once the magic thread had been spun, Takami went to play with the Filolials and Denki, while the rest of the party focused on making the clothes. "Hey, big bro, catch me if you can!" Takami shouted in her Filolial queen form, running through the field with Denki chasing after her. "I'm gonna get you!" he proclaimed, running after her. "Nuh-uh! You're too slow!" she responded. "Okay, I think we're done," Izuku said. He hadn't done much to help but organize. It was really thanks to Rishi and Melty, who knew how to sew correctly, that the clothes had turned out as good as they did. He basically just gave the idea and helped a bit here and there. "Hey, Takami! Your clothes are ready!" Izuku shouted, wanting to get her to come and try the clothes out. What? Takami responded, stopping in her tracks to be able to hear better. Once she stopped, Denki got a chance to catch up. He jumped at her, turning into his human form. Yay! I win! He announced, standing over the pinned Takami. No fair, Takami said, turning into her human form while pouting. Come on, guys, Takami has to try her clothes out, so come here, Raphtalia said. Coming, Denki said, getting off of Takami and walking towards them with a victory pose. Coming, sis, Takami said, catching Raphtalia slightly off guard. The two Filolials walked over to the rest of the party where Takami tried her new clothes on. Her clothes consisted of an old aviator helmet that let her hair flow out, a little brown jacket on top of a blue shirt, and dark green shorts that reached down to her knees. They were pretty baggy, making it pretty comfortable. She also wore an emerald green scarf around her neck that flowed down her outfit. If a comparison needed to be made, she looked like a 1920s era pilot without their heavy gear. How do I look? She asked, spinning around to show the full outfit. She wasn't able to see for herself, so she needed the reaction from the others. I'd say it looks great on you, Izuku responded, getting the girl very excited. If only we had a mirror around so she could see what she looks like for herself, Raphtalia said, letting out a small sigh. I think I may have something that can accomplish that purpose, Fitoria said. Moments later, she pulled out an old-looking mirror which Takami used to get a good look at herself. Her face lit up the moment she saw how it looked on her. What about... Risha started saying. What about her Filolial form? Melty said enthusiastically, wanting to see how the hard work they had put in would look. After hearing the question, Takami transformed. In her Filolial form, she looked the same as before, a giant red owl-looking monster, but on top of her was an old-fashioned aviator helmet and the emerald green scarf. I trust the preparations of the garments have finished, Fitoria said once it was all done. They are, Izuku responded. Then I'd like to have our duel now, Fitoria said. Feh? Risha let out one of her signature whimpers. Wait, a duel? Why do you want to fight them all of a sudden? Raphtalia asked. Sounds fun! I'm in! Denki announced, enthused. If Big Bro's doing it, I want to do it too, Takami said. Don't worry too much about it, she just wants to gauge their strength, Izuku said. The situation reminded him slightly of his first day at high school, so he quickly accepted the idea. Do your best, you two, Raphtalia shouted while Izuku encouraged them by putting one of his fists into the air. Yeah! The two shouted back, jumping into the air with their fists raised as well. I will be fighting my human form, but you two are free to do as you please, Fitoria said. She then turned to the humans and continued. I also must ask for you not to interfere with our battle. You may start when you feel like it, she said, turning back to the Filolials. Denki rushed at Fitoria, turning into his Filolial king form on the way, with Takami joining in shortly after. They both hit Fitoria simultaneously, but she seemed unfazed, just moving them back with a simple gesture. The two Filolials quickly reeled back from the attack and attacked again, then once more. They attacked over and over, yet Fitoria blocked every attack. Physical attacks weren't doing the trick, so they switched to using wind magic, which Fitoria just blocked or nullified. Being on the ropes, Denki used his lightning magic, which surprised Fitoria for a moment. She had no way of cancelling it, so she just moved out of the way quickly, being grazed by Takami, who had attacked at incredible speeds. It was a surprising combo, but it still wasn't enough. She then started attacking herself, taking the two of them down rather quickly, but they got up and kept on fighting. The two Filolials attacked and attacked, being blocked and stopped at many turns. In the end, they managed to impress Fitoria enough. She ended the battle with a quick attack which threw them to the ground. The two were about to attack again when she announced the end of the battle. She had acknowledged the two Filolials as possible successors, so, as promised, Fitoria gave them their prize. "Please remove your helmet," she asked Takami. Takami obliged. Fitoria then grabbed a small crown and placed it on her head. She grabbed another and placed it on Denki's head. Seconds later, the crown on both their heads disappeared, being replaced by small cowlicks. "Well, that's a huge stat increase," Izuku said, looking at his shield, while in the background the two Filolials bickered. Denki seemed to like how it looked, while Takami decided to hide it under her helmet since she did not like it at all. "I also have something for you, shield hero," Fitoria announced. She pulled out one of her cowlicks, placing it onto Izuku's shield. Izuku's eyes widened as the whole Filolial series was forcefully unlocked. The fight to prove their worthiness having finished, the group and Filolials decided to celebrate by throwing a small party, which would last well into the night. A couple days prior, while Izuku and company were on the run from the law in Motoyasu, in the northern regions of Melromark, after liberating a small village from a tyrannical lord. "Sir Itsuki, we have news for you," one of his party members informed, coming from having met with an emissary. "What is it?" Itsuki asked. "I was hoping to get a small break before some more justicing." "It's about the shield hero, sir. He is wanted for the death of 7 people in the massacre of a small town," his party member said, showing the doctored footage that was going around the country. "Ha! The devil finally shows his true colors," a man wearing shiny armor said. "I don't think so, Mold. Something about this feels off," Itsuki responded, putting his finger to his mouth as if in thought. "What do you mean, Lord Itsuki? He's the devil incarnate. The footage shows it," Mol retorted. "Just look at that evil grin." "The king has also issued a summons for the 3 heroes, along with a bounty for the shield hero's head. It is the most sought-after quest in the guild. What do you want to do?" his party member asked. "We'll meet with the king and see what he has to say, but something here feels wrong. My justice sense is tingling," Itsuki responded. He then opened up his menu, selected a skill, and in a flash of light, he and his party were gone. At the same time, in the nation of Zeltobel, Ren was confronted with the same news after finishing a Colosseum match. It seemed like a very fishy situation to him. I guess I'll be going back a lot sooner than I'd hoped," he said, disappointed. "Get the rest of the party together. We're leaving in 15 minutes. After the deadline arrived, Ren got together with his party. They went into an alleyway where Ren opened his menu and activated a skill. He disappeared in a flash of light, meeting up with Itsuki in the room they had first been summoned to. "This is where we met originally," Fitoria said after taking the group back to their original campsite the day after the Filolials had fought. "Thank you very much for all your help," Izuku said, bowing to the queen. "Yes, thank you very much," Melty added, bowing herself. "It is no trouble at all. I wish you luck on your travels, shield hero. I hope you are able to assemble the heroes to fight the waves," she said. She then mounted on her carriage, and in another flash of light, she was gone. The day being young, the group set forth to where they were supposed to meet with the Siltveld emissaries. And that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed as always. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, because I always have to say that because this is YouTube and otherwise people won't do it. Yes. So, decisions. Here I already set it up in the last part. Fitoria shows up because she's heard about Denki and Takami, who are Filolial King and Queen respectively, the 2 Filolials that Midoriya has been raising. And yeah, she wants to test them out like she always does. Every time there's a Filolial King or Queen, usually the first one there are in the world, she goes to talk to them and see if they're worthy candidates to be her successors. Yeah, this interaction itself was based a lot off of the reprise of the Spear Hero thing, more than Shield Hero. So the fight itself wasn't shown that much because I thought it was more important to have the conversation between Fitoria and Izuku. Yeah, they talk about a bunch of important heavy stuff that may come into play a bit later. Yeah. Aside from that, since the conversation involved a lot of different things, I don't really know how to validate that. I just know if I had made the fight much elaborate, I did not know how to do it. I was tired when writing the script, and honestly I thought, I don't want to do this. It's not something that needs to be done here. The important thing is they fight to determine the successor. Just like Spear Hero didn't really elaborate on their fight between the three Filolials and Fitoria, here I'm not elaborate between the two. The important thing to know is both Takami and Denki are two variants. They are different from one another and normal Filolials in a way, even from Philo. I kind of want to imply that Takami may get some ability later on, some rare thing, but for now you only know she's a lot faster than regular Filolial queens. Like, she's considerably faster than Takami. Like, if than Denki. If Denki can go at 50 kilometers per hour, she can go at 60. Like, it's a decent difference. And Denki, of course, has lightning magic, which sets him apart. So, yeah. Fitoria was a bit surprised to see those variations, but hey, that's why they managed to get her off guard, because she accelerated faster than Fitoria. Takami accelerated faster than Fitoria expected. Yes. Well, if you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, subscribe. That's all for me for today. And until next time, everyone, have an absolutely fantastic day. Bye!